As nightfall crawls over this suburban Toronto neighborhood, 11-year-old Elijah Moses does all he can do these days, play alone.
It's just not as fun playing by yourself, and even especially going to the ranks, not allow you using a stick or a puck or anything. It's just really a bummer.
In Canada's biggest city, arenas are locked down. Even on the city's outdoor rinks, sticks and pucks are forbidden.
Honestly, felt pretty sad. Just that motivation's going down the more no one's coming and we can't play together.
He is usually a busy boy. Winters spent in hockey arenas, summers on the baseball diamond. These days, he's got nothing but time, and he's not using it well, says his mother.
Now all he does is go on TikTok and make videos.
This is the 4-puck challenge.
And play PS4 and Fortnite all the time. His behavior's deteriorated, his language has gotten atrocious from this thing. And we are constantly telling him, get off the PS4, get off the PS4, go outside and play, but there's just no motivation.
He just kind of slips the puck through, Muzzin gets it into the danger zone, good battle.
Parents have watched this all happen as the NHL was given the green light to start its season. And while some families have enjoyed watching the league's return, not everyone is celebrating.
I don't think it's fair. I don't think that adults should be allowed to play a game that kids are not, and certainly not our country's national sport.
As more teams are sidelined and seasons cancelled, there's a growing pressure to get kids back on the ice through an emerging Let Them Play movement, rallies urging rinks to be reopened. The NBA is also back in action, but just like minor hockey, for kids, an actual game is hard to find. For BC high school teammates Lauren Tomlinson and Nia Corshane, this was supposed to be a special season. One that would pave roads to the future and create lifelong memories.
For my high school senior season, that's also a good chance to be recruited, and it's obviously my last year playing basketball in high school, so that was obviously a really important kind of milestone for me.
Few young athletes anywhere are playing actual games, and even in places where limited practice is allowed, it feels foreign.
We also lost the connection between us, because there's a certain period at the beginning of the season when you're training really hard and getting ready for your game, and then your team kind of comes together in a way that you haven't before, and that's not really happening as much because you only see them in practice.
While COVID restrictions vary slightly by province and sport, every league and team has been affected. For hundreds of thousands of Canadian children, COVID began impacting their sports last winter. A year later, they are facing down another season of loss. During the last 10 months, it's a story this sports psychiatrist has repeatedly heard from young athletes and their families.
What I try to help people understand is this is a for now thing. This is not something that's going to be like this forever, and we need to use this as an opportunity to maybe fulfill our identities a little bit more, not just be that unidimensional athlete, but also explore whatever else brings you joy and happiness and leisure.
A number of recent studies have documented the profound effect this pandemic is having on young Canadian athletes.
Being busy and sports especially have always been something that's actually helped my mental health a lot. So missing that aspect really sucks. Ready for a break, Coach Ross?
Nia's coach, like thousands of other Canadian coaches, has used platforms like Zoom to stay in touch and attempt to replicate what they can't teach in person.
All of you, please go into the Google Classroom and take a look at the sideline out of bounds and end line out of bounds plays that we're going to be running in the season coming up.
We did that a couple of times a week, and we talked about basketball for probably the first 10 or 15 minutes.
I'm going to personally sign off, but I'm going to leave the meeting open so you guys can have a group discussion on your own.
But most of it at the end was just me getting away from the computer and allowing them to interact with each other and have a conversation with each other about what was going on in their lives at that time.
I want to be born in 1955 so that I could grow up as a teen in the 70s because I love 70s music.
I think that I would like to live in like the roaring 20s, especially during this time, because like I'm really craving to like dress up and go out with people and like my friends.
But they were very open with each other about how they felt, and I think that the sharing, the communal sharing about where they were at, and so many of them were at the same place, was a very important thing, and I actually think it helped them.
As COVID continues to grip this country, no coach or player or parent is equating the loss of life this virus has caused to the loss of activity. But everyone has been affected differently. For young athletes, COVID has stripped away joy and whittled away opportunity.
Because thinking about the future, it's too uncertain. It's kind of bleak to me. So I try my best to just focus on what I have right now and be grateful for that and pray that soon it will be fixed.
For The National, I'm Jamie Strachan in Toronto.